Did you know that the Parmesan cheese you buy in the US isn't Parmesan at all, and is a counterfeit version of Parmigiano Reggiano, a traditional Italian cheese? If you weren't aware of this, you're not alone. Counterfeiters aren't some underground black market businesses operating in secrecy. In fact, they're often at the same level of sophistication as the legitimate brands they're copying.
The biggest and most notorious of these counterfeiters is a Chinese brand called Lepin. It operates completely openly. I mean, you can visit the company's website, lepinworld.com, and you will see that its logo and Lego's logo are almost identical. Both use these puffy white letters against a bright red background.
So if you're shopping online and maybe in a little bit of a rush, you may not notice that what you're buying is Lepin, not Lego. Lego has sued Chinese companies like Lepin numerous times for violating its trademark, for copyright and intellectual property laws. Last year, Chinese police in Shenzhen raided a toy maker and seized $30 million worth of counterfeit Legos.
While estimates vary, the total amount of counterfeit goods sold each year comes in at around $1.7 trillion to $4.5 trillion, which would make counterfeiting at least the 10th largest economy, just above Canada's total GDP. Counterfeiting is a massive source of competition to e-commerce brands, as they not only have to worry about both legitimate competitors eating up market share, but also the counterfeiters on Amazon and eBay.
These knockoffs often sell for a third of the price of the real thing.
So what innovative approaches are brands taking to curb counterfeiting? In this video, we'll go beyond commonly adopted strategies like regional trademark registrations, which are indeed effective and widely used.
The knockoffs are getting better and better and more profitable for these counterfeiters.
Since the counterfeit market often adapts to meet demand, we'll focus on some of the most creative and advanced tactics that brands are employing to keep one step ahead of the counterfeiters. If you ever bought Air Jordans from a reliable source, knowing they're 100% authentic, only to find the colour slightly off from the online advertising, or picked up a Gucci belt from a trusted retailer and discover the buckle is a millimetre off from what was pictured on the official website, you haven't stumbled across mistakes. They're deliberate moves by trusted brands to outwit counterfeiters. Because it's impossible to shut the fake stores down for good, because they just open up again somewhere else, big brands like Nike, Gucci, and Lego have to come up with unorthodox methods of fighting off counterfeiters. Counterfeiters in China and Hong Kong, estimated to be the source of 86% of the world's counterfeit goods, an amount that the US Chamber of Commerce estimates is worth about $397 billion, often base their imitations off any advertising materials from authentic brands that they can get their hands on. Some are so experienced in this that they've been able to recreate entire counterfeit Lego sets from the printed images displayed on the original packaging. In response, Lego had decided to give counterfeiters a taste of their own medicine. They started to feature product images in their advertisements that contained subtle differences from the actual items sold in their flagship stores. When these altered images are copied for counterfeit products, the discrepancies will expose them as fakes to the customers. Several international brands have successfully implemented this strategy. From the number of pinstripes seen on luxury clothes and how they align together, to how light reflects off the surfaces of sneakers in announcement photos. In Lego's case, this came in the form of colour variations and facial expressions on minifigures. This was an effective, albeit controversial countermeasure. Another instance of this tactic comes from Adidas and their Yeezy supply. Aware of how common fake Yeezys were becoming, experts and insiders believe that Adidas took creative liberties when spreading promotional content for the upcoming Yeezy 350 V2 Statics. In these ads, the stripe down the middle of the shoe appeared much thinner than it was on the real-life product. Whether or not it was just the perspective or a purposeful edit on Adidas's behalf isn't entirely known, but the discrepancy started to show up in only the fake versions of the sneakers, making it an effective counterfeit deterrent, purposeful or not. Counterfeiters who replicated these images ended up producing fake sneakers with the incorrect stripe width, making it much easier to identify them as knockoffs. However, there is a thin line between deceiving counterfeiters and cheating customers, and one must be careful not to cross it. A select amount of LEGO fanatics criticise LEGO's methods for what they believe to be false advertising tactics. Many brands often think that the desire for counterfeiting is straightforward. Fraudsters are out to make a quick buck by exploiting the allure of luxury labels. However, Gucci discovered a more nuanced issue when it noticed an unusual number of paper replicas of its bags in Hong Kong. Initially, Gucci took the legal route, sending cease and desist letters and pursuing legal action for intellectual property infringement. However, these measures did little to slow the production. They weren't even certain if the shopkeepers creating the paper replicas were acknowledging their efforts. With further analysis, they realized that people were buying these counterfeits to burn at funerals and include in the annual celebration of King Ming-ji, to accompany their loved ones in the afterlife. In Chinese tradition, the afterlife mirrors the world of the living, and burning paper items ensures deceased relatives are provided for in death. Realizing that a straightforward legal or corporate approach did not have the ability to alter such a deeply ingrained tradition, Gucci chose a more individualized approach. The company hired skilled writers to send personalized letters to each Hong Kong shopkeeper, asking them politely to stop selling these paper replicas, as it was negatively impacting the reputation of Gucci's designs, which are highly valued by the company's employees. The aim was to evoke a sense of empathy that a faceless corporation couldn't achieve. In an unexpected twist, locals started using the Gucci letters in their burn rituals instead of the replicas. This goes to show that counterfeiting can extend into areas like cultural and religious practices. Even though the people of Hong Kong are very defensive in making any changes to their traditions, Gucci stays in tune with these ritual traditions and is careful not to downplay the importance and impact of these practices. After all, the brand's success is tied to its image as luxury clothing. A common thread runs through all these items. They predominantly consist of luxury fashion. But surprisingly, this issue also extends to unexpected domains like premium cheese. It might not be immediately obvious, but Parmesan cheese falls into the category of luxury products. When you grab a package labelled Parmesan at the supermarket, what you're actually buying is a copycat version of Parmigiano Reggiano, a traditional Italian cheese. Because the original Parmesan cheese is officially protected by the European Union, it has many strict rules, such as the term Parmigiano Reggiano can only be used for the authentic product. Its production is limited to a specific area in northern Italy's Emilia-Romagna region, following specific standards and techniques. Additionally, the cheese must be aged for at least 1 year. Because of these strict rules, the supply of genuine Parmigiano Reggiano couldn't keep up with the demand, forcing other companies to resort to counterfeiting the luxury cheese, mainly in the US. Despite Parmigiano Reggiano successfully safeguarding its prestigious name and reputation, allowing it to command a premium price by just being named Parmigiano Reggiano, compared to cheeses simply labelled Parmesan, this achievement didn't discourage counterfeiters from trying to pass off their imitation Parmesan as an authentic Italian product. In response, the makers of the cheese started implanting edible microchips into the casings of their 90-pound cheese wheels to ward off American counterfeiters. The microtransponders were made of silicon and about the size of a grain of sand. They are placed on the casing label. The microchip can then be scanned to pull up a unique serial ID that buyers can use to ensure they've got the real thing. The chips use blockchain technology and trace the wheel of cheese back to where the milk that was used came from. Other industries are also considering or planning to use the chips, including makers of drugs and car parts. So the next time you dig into a bowl of pasta with freshly grated Parmesan, you could accidentally be eating a microchip. Despite ongoing efforts to combat counterfeiting, platforms like Amazon and eBay are inadvertently aiding its spread. Fortunately, consumers recognize this issue. A fashion research study revealed that 48% of its respondents believe that if a fashion product is listed on a digital marketplace, it can't be genuine. As a result, there's been a notable shift in shopping preferences, with many transitioning from large marketplaces like Amazon to the personalized experiences offered by individual brand websites. Recognizing this problem, major brands have begun to reevaluate their strategies. And in November of 2019, Nike decided that it would no longer sell its products directly on Amazon.com, ending a 2-year direct sales relationship with the e-commerce giant for good. Leaders at Nike say that walking away allowed it to avoid diluting its brand amid a sea of fake goods that can be found on Amazon's online platform and pursue sales through their own digital channels. This brave move by a powerful status company like Nike, and the fact that Amazon declined to comment on this story, led other popular retailers to also end their partnerships with Amazon. Surprisingly, Nike was not the first big brand to leave the company for this reason. In 2017, German shoemaker Birkenstock announced its decision to sever ties with a European subsidiary of Amazon. They cited a concerning issue that more than half of the products consumers had purchased from Amazon, believing them to be authentic Birkenstock items, were found to be counterfeit. Similarly, other luxury goods companies, including Louis Vuitton and LVMH Moet Hennessy, steered clear of direct relationships with Amazon. If you want to take the personalized website approach, similar to what brands like Nike and Louis Vuitton have adopted, consider using Krepling, where you can scale your online store using advanced automation workflows tailored to the specific needs of businesses with intense back-end demands. Click the link below to get started. Until next time.